Hey everybody, Brett from AstartesGaming here, back with another episode of our RimWorld Rome Let's Play. So, we're not being raided or anything like that. I just figured we'd pick up here because I'd been working a lot off camera and I didn't want to get too far ahead of you guys. Also, we had a bunch of our prisoners join, so I wanted to catch up on that as well. And we have about 6 days left to complete our incapacitated refugee quest. So, I would like to get started on that today as well. Before we do that though, let's go ahead and survey the base so you can see that the palisades are pretty much finished with the exception of the bit right here that is currently overlapping our farming area. So you can see I've had them start working on being able to move that over, and we'll do that as soon as we can. We'll probably start with this one and a little bit of this. Actually, both of these will probably need to move, so those can occupy these two. And this one can stay, but we'll need to go at some point. So that will be a lower priority, but we'll probably clear out some space for it right here. Or something like that. You can see that we've got spikes all along the border here. Not the entirety of it, but we did get almost this whole side. We got some of it down here, and I haven't started queuing it up down there yet. But we're making good progress on that. Regarding the houses, this set of 3 is finished. This set of 3 is about half finished. So the walls are done literally up to the halfway point. All the doors are in. Got a couple more walls here. We still need the beds and the lights. And as soon as we get this one furnished, I'll go ahead and let Ashura, or Gaba, as she was called last time, or Galba, who was formerly Mole. We'll put one of them in here and then one of them in the other room. Actually, you, Ashura, I think you're in a relationship with Atius, aren't you? Yeah, so what am I doing? You don't need to sleep in there. You can just sleep here. Okay. We can go ahead and deconstruct that. Mole is actually sleeping in here right now. Or sorry, Galba. I obviously renamed people. So, just a quick recap. Mole is now Galba. Gaba is now Ashura. These are all names taken from the comments. Ashura was actually Asher, but I needed a fitting name, and there wasn't really any for females. Asher and a couple of the names submitted for people that looked like they were of like Syrian descent, I thought were appropriate, but she's female, so I just added an A to the end to make it sound female. And then finally, our littlest member of the colony. I don't remember what she... Oh, right, she was Poopy before. How could I forget that? She's now Italia. And I cheated a little bit, went into the dev tools and made her Stilicho's biological daughter. So we're going to pretend that she was accompanying the Legion. They got separated, obviously, and now they're back. So she's going to get trained up like the daughter of a general. Not your typical noble female child. She's going to be a fighter for us and a leader as well. You can see that she does, of course, have the skills for that. Alright, so with that stuff out of the way, the last thing is the terraforming. So this is going to be the biggest part right here, and that's going to need to extend all the way across. But essentially what I've done is we've got 3 tiles worth of marsh all through the center here, and then along the bank I'm gonna go ahead and do packed dirt just so that we don't have trees growing in there, and along this bank, the near side, we're gonna have more packed dirt. The reason I'm leaving some room there and not bringing the water all the way in is because these palisades are temporary. Eventually we're gonna have stone embrasured walls here, and those embrasured walls will be a little bit bigger because we're going to allow some space for people to walk around inside them. But that's going to take a bit of time, obviously, and we need to accumulate those materials, so it's going to be a very slow process. In the meantime, it made plenty of sense to just throw down a bunch of wood defenses and protect ourselves that way, because wood was obviously very plentiful. Okay, so incapacitated refugee quest. We have a intellectual or scientist named Stomp. Why does it say that he's a feline? Oh, he's a feline scientist. Okay, I was reading that weird. I was like, so he's not a male scientist. He's a female, feline scientist. I thought he was like a cat person. I was like, I'm not running any of those mods. Right, no. He's apparently like a veterinary scientist who specializes in cats. That makes a lot more sense. So he is an intellectual. The quest is not that far away. It's right here. And the game says that we can expect that to take about a day. And that is, of course, not factoring in that we would be riding horses there. So, we'll want to do this probably as soon as everybody starts waking up. We're going to send Stilicho, Aetius, and probably Galba. Or we can send Stilicho, Aetius, and Loka. But it's going to be 3 people that are all proficient fighters. And we're going to leave a couple of people behind to protect the base. So let's get things rolling. As soon as I can, I'm going to make Galba and Ashura some better gear. And probably some more appropriate clothing as well. And the same goes for Italia in that regard. I'll need to get her a better weapon too. In fact, that's something we can do now. We're actually pretty close to finishing the Mediterranean Culture Project. It was a pretty lengthy one at 5,000, but obviously we've made good time. Once we're through that, I'm hoping that opens up a lot of different stuff for us. We'll get into tree sowing, as I mentioned before, then Mediterranean agriculture, and then we'll probably dive into some of the armor crafting, because that's obviously stuff that we will need. So let's see. Oh, one of our prisoners just got diarrhea from not washing their hands. Yeah, I need a way for them to be able to do that in here. By the way, Constantine is going to test one of the other shields for us. So there's 2 different types of shields in this because of the different mods that I'm running. There's the one that we've seen, which is these guys here. It's basically just an object they carry around all the time, so you can see ATS with it. He's always got it present. This one works sort of like... I click on Constantine, but you can't actually see it. This one works sort of like a shield belt. They do take it out, but only when they're drafted. And it has sort of like a shield rating here. I'm curious to see how they work. Whichever one is more effective is, I think, what I'll go ahead and use. But I will obviously consider aesthetics to some degree as well. We also got an assassination request, but I'm not going to do this. We would have to go kill someone from some faction. There's really no way that we would be able to do that right now. Aetius, go eat some pemmican. I know you can't technically do it on your own because it's marked for prisoners, but we'll try to fix that. The issue is the stockpile I had in here got occupied by a sleeping spot. So what I'll do is build a copy. We're going to put it in Tanya's room for now. Get rid of that. This is going to be, whoops, yours. Then we will create a stockpile right there that will be allowed for pemmican and only pemmican, but to make things easier, we'll copy and paste and then just modify. Let's say critical, fresh only, no meals, no raw food, only pemmican. Okay, I think that's sufficient. They should be cranking out pemmican like crazy, and then it should immediately get dropped there, where anybody should be able to pick it up. Again, if it's in here, this is technically a prison, and so they will not come and take it. Who's starving? Tanya? Okay, she's gonna go get some pemmican. Oh, and I don't think I showed you guys this, so we're gonna go ahead and terraform out to here as well. This is all just lichen covered dirt. I am going to build that. Potentially go ahead and turn it into packed dirt, but we're going to build a palisade along here and then a tower where it kind of flares at the end. That should make this impassable because this is all impassable deep water. So they won't be able to walk around it. They can walk up to it very, very slowly through all the marsh. But we'll have the taller palisade all the way across. I'm not going to build any lower ones out here because in theory, nobody should come out here. So we're just going to make sure it's completely blocked. And that way, nobody should bother going out there. They'll just recognize that it's not passable and give up and try to attack the gate instead. Speaking of which, we do have our wooden crossbow set up, so we're going to play with that today too. But now that it's about 10 o'clock, I think everybody's eaten for the most part. We will go ahead and put together our mission, though we don't have any food to give them. That's a bit of a problem. I could send them with a big stack of berries. I guess let's play with it. Let's see what we can actually do. Because we will be supplementing that with whatever they collect or forage for. But we don't want to be solely reliant on that. I think we're going to go with 3 melee weapons, or melee specialists here. Constantine is one of our best fighters, but because he's also our best crafter and builder, I'm not going to send him. I need him working on stuff at the base. Then, let's see, we need 1, 2, and I'm guessing, yeah, that's unfortunate. I can only have them ride 2 horses. I guess they could ride one of the dogs. It's a little bit ridiculous, but we're going to go ahead and do it. So, Stilicho, Galba, Aetius. Okay. Choose our route, which is out to here. 0.3 days. So we don't need to have a whole lot of food. It's only going to take us about a half-day round trip, though we are going to spend some time there fighting and probably patching people up. So we can figure it's going to be at least a full day. To that end, I guess smoked meat would work. How much will the berries get us? 0.8? I don't suppose I have any other food to send them with, no. How about smoked meat? They're not going to eat that, huh? Well, I can fix that. So let's send them with all the smoked meat, and well, not all the smoked meat. We'll send them with a good amount of smoked meat and a good amount of berries. That should be about 2 days worth of food. I just need to make sure that they're actually allowed to eat this. They don't actually mind eating it. It is considered raw food, and that's why it's not counting toward this right now. So I need to go in and fix that, but it doesn't actually have the penalties associated with raw food. And we'll send them with like 10 herbal, maybe 20 herbal medicine, in case anybody gets badly injured. And I think that's good, so let's lock that in. Then we will come back to here. If I go to assignments, we'll manage food restrictions. We'll just go to lavish since that's what everybody's set to now. And if we go to raw food and meat, let's see, smoked meat should be in here. We'll go ahead and allow that, and then that should not only let people eat it here, but eat it out on the missions as well. Okay, so let's let them get prepared. We'll try to get these horses tamed so that we can actually ride them on missions. I don't like people riding dogs. It's probably less efficient as well. I know the horses are a lot faster than the dogs, but it's still better than nothing. Okay, the caravan's way. This is going to take them 0.7 days, so a little bit longer than it estimated initially, but we can see that with the little tweak I made to the food allowances, we do have a full 2 days worth of food, so technically we have enough to be on this amount of time there, that amount of time back, and then we can spend about 0.7 days at the destination. So I think we'll be just fine. And we are going to be supplementing that food again with foraging, so it may end up being a little bit more than this, but hopefully we don't take longer than that. So Constantine is knocking out some of the terraforming here. He's just pushing straight through, and this should give you guys an idea of what our little moat's going to look like. It's not a huge one, but it's enough to slow people down, because again, they're going to be moving at 30% move speed right here. So I don't recall what the range on that is. I guess it's pretty good. So if he was standing behind the palisade, he would have an easy time hitting stuff as it approaches the water and as it sits in the water. So the water is going to provide a very nice little kill zone for us, because the enemy is going to be slowed to a crawl as they start moving through there, and all of our people are going to be sitting here throwing pila or shooting arrows at them, and it's going to get pretty ugly right about there. So we'll let him keep doing that. When he gets to... you know what? We could do it now. Constantine, come over here and man the crossbow. We're going to go ahead and do our little test. Since we have these nice elk hanging out here. So the first thing I want to see is if we have a decent field of view on this thing. Because obviously the palisade might be blocking it. So this is a good test because they're kind of at the maximum range. And also at an angle that it looks like we shouldn't be able to shoot. But I'm willing to bet that we probably can. So let's target this female elk. And we'll see if he can hit it. It looks like he's just fine. No, maybe he is hitting the wall. Okay. So let's target that one. Okay, still blocked. Well, that's good to know. So, yeah, it looks like that's too narrow a field of view. So what are we going to do about that? I guess let's wait. Oh, it looks like our people have arrived. So yeah, good timing. We will go ahead and see if the elk shift. We'll at least test the damage. Because I don't know if these are even, you know, going to be worth using over just giving people bows and arrows. Okay, now we're not lagging anymore. So you... go back to work. Okay, so here we are. And here they are. Oh, hello. Yeah, people were saying that with the mod list, they were having similar issues. So these guys did spawn in with guns, even though the Ancient Rim mod should not allow that. So this will be a little bit tricky. I'm actually less concerned with that and more concerned with the incendiary launcher. But it is what it is, so we're just going to go ahead and do our best to deal with this, and I'll try to resolve this before the next episode. I don't know if there's a mod I can add that will retroactively remove them. It's going to be this particular faction, though. Because obviously the Spartans and Romans and Macedonians aren't going to spawn in with guns. So if I can just remove the faction, it should kind of resolve that. Right. Are you guys mounted up? No? Yes, honestly I can't tell. Let's move up. Okay, well, you guys are mounted. Do we want to stay mounted? I think we probably should because we need to close the gap here. So, Stilico, I'm going to ask you to get that Gladius ready. And you are going to go melee attack her. Because we cannot allow her to sit there and shoot incendiaries at us. ATS, you're going to do the same thing, but go after him. And, Galba, you're in there somewhere, right? Your job is going to be to run over here and try to intercept Ball over there. There's a fourth person here somewhere, so we'll see what they have. Okay, apparently we're going that way. Oh, I mean, that works, I guess. You basically just hid behind the mountain there. That's smart. I'll take it. Stilico, I didn't want you tied up in combat already. Alright, ATS, I need you to go there then. This guy had a knife. That guy had a knife. Okay. Help out here. Stilico, I need you attacking there as well. ATS, you gotta be very careful though. Because I don't want you fighting like 3-on-1. Alright, Stilico, go help out. Galba, go help out. Don't you dare fire that thing. Alright, they're dead. They're starting to flee, but we are mounted. And so we're going to use cavalry just like it was intended to run them down. You're still fighting, okay. Continue to fight. You continue to fight. I can try to arrest him. Wait, no. That's my guy. Come on, put him down. We need to get the other guy. Okay. You're down. ATS, why don't you go after Diver as well? Galba, you are going to check out these rooms for us. So yeah, even with the guns, it didn't really matter. I will sell or destroy that incendiary launcher. I'm not going to use it. But it looks like we were able to take a couple of captives, potentially. And our person that we were supposed to rescue is here. Missy, can you help me here? You're not... yeah, I can't ask you to do that. So hopefully Stilico gets there in time. Okay, perfect. Ooh, look at all these supplies. Hello. So here's what I'm going to do. We need some sleeping spots. We'll do, I think, the prisoners in here. And then our people can sleep in here. I don't need a bunch. In fact, our people probably will not sleep. I just need somewhere for Stomp. So, were you worth rescuing? He was actually a refugee from Sparta. Background is a cat herder and then a feline scientist. He's just all about cats. He hates dumb labor, which is unfortunate. But it looks like he'll have enough utility where it won't matter. He is nimble. So he'll be very evasive in melee combat, though it doesn't look like he should be in melee combat. And he's a gourmand. So he's going to cook better, but also eat more. It looks like with a bit of practice, we could turn him into a decent archer. So that's nice. At least he has some combat utility. He's also not terrible at mining with a bit of passion, so he could get better at that. Cooking, he's already quite skilled at with a bit of passion. And it looks like he's exactly what we expected from an intellectual. So his intellectual skill is fairly high with a lot of passion there. His medical skill is fairly high with some passion. And he's got some social too. So yeah, I think this guy was definitely worth it. He is a bit old. So pretty soon he's going to start suffering health issues if he doesn't have them already. Oh, he's just bruised. It's not a big deal. But yeah, he would potentially... Let's undraft him. We'll offer help. I forget how this works in 1.0. Okay, so rescuee joins right away. Perfect. Do me a favor, rescue him. Get him into that sleeping spot. How did this play out? Okay, so he's not dead. Conveniently, they also dropped a bunch of meals for us. So, Diver. Not a bad character, actually. Bloodlust, Psychically Deaf, Optimist. I think you're going to be worth snagging. She has potential as a fighter all around, but is especially an archer with some social skill and potentially animals and plants. Both pretty useful in this playthrough. So Stilico, actually I need to mark these, don't I? Let's make one more. Yeah, I think that's right, because one of them just died. So there's 3 that are still up. Stilico, go ahead and capture Diver. Oh, the whole reason I did that was so I could come over here and mark those as prisoners. Right. Alright, Stilico, capture Diver. Aetius, capture Denise, but let me look at her skills before I confirm that. Undergrounder and hates dumb labor. Wow, you just hate a lot of stuff. Mining and art, though, and potentially fighting. I'm going to go ahead and capture her. Doesn't have the most utility, but she's not useless. And then Ball. Greedy, oh no. That's a shame. Huh. Pretty good miner. That's somebody we could maybe keep as a slave or a prisoner and have him just permanently mining in a quarry. But the Pyromaniac trait always makes me nervous. Greedy means that I just can't really afford to keep him as a colonist because he's always going to be unhappy. And then obviously Pyromaniac as a colonist is even worse because if he has a mental break, he can just start lighting stuff on fire. As a prisoner, it's less of an issue, but it still can be an issue. I will rescue him. I just don't know what I'm going to do with him. I'm certainly not going to recruit him. I've had a lot of people ask me to sell prisoners into slavery. And while that is thematically appropriate, I do worry about the actual in-game implications because that can really upset your colonists. So I'm very reluctant to do that. Okay. Did I bring anybody that's even remotely capable of medicine? Aetius isn't bad. So, do I want to bother wasting medicine on these guys? Let's see. I wish I could tell them to use it only on the cuts. But since there's no real way to do that, I'm going to say no medicine. And we'll just treat them without, operating on the assumption that they probably will eventually get an infection. And then we'll use the medicine to sort that out. Okay. You three. Come out here somewhere. Who dropped their shield, by the way? Why did we drop this? That was you, wasn't it? Go ahead and equip that again. Okay. Go ahead and dismount. Undraft. Now, which one of you was in the most danger? You. Okay. So we're just going to do some basic triage and then we'll head back. I just want to make sure that we have these guys all patched up. Though I could just let them handle it in the caravan. But given that we have 4 people that aren't capable of moving, if we decide to send them out right now, we're going to be moving so slow that it might not matter whether we wait or not. Maybe I will just send them back. I'm feeling a little impatient, as it were. Is there anything here that might be worth grabbing? I don't believe so. Okay, so we're just going to send them back then. That went pretty well, though. We got a new colonist and a couple new prisoners that we can potentially turn into colonists. So let's head to here. We'll go ahead and reform our caravan. Yep, that's all fine. All the simple meals, please. All the smoked meat. We'll take that iron, actually. Ooh, bronze. I'll take the bronze. I might leave the iron. Definitely taking bronze, though. Bronze is pretty valuable. Smoke leaf and psychoid leaves. The issue is if I can't preserve these, then it's just going to rot anyway. Regarding the syntholine stuff, I'm going to leave it behind because it's a little bit heavy. And it's just going to add to the value of our colony. So I would be better off, yeah. Because I'm going to have to trade it. I can't do much, if anything, with this. It's not really thematically appropriate anyways. So I'm not going to bother. I will snag their weapons, though. We are going to take these guns, even though, again, I will not use them. I'm just going to trade them because I feel like I've earned that right, given the fact that I had to fight them. But yeah, some people were saying that they were experiencing that in the comments. And yes, it appears that I'm suffering from the same issue. Oh, they have some electronics too. I'm not going to bother with those. But I will do... Yeah, see, it's going to take us 4 days to get back. I don't think I have 4 days worth of food, but let's just lock it in. That will progressively decrease as people get healthier. So it should be fine. Actually, there's a way that we could exploit this too. And I might do it. Let's see about this. I'm going to try something here. Whoops. So the first thing we need to do is get rid of these beds. So just deconstruct them. Let's turn these into prisoner beds. Then I need all of you in here. We're going to try something that I sort of figured out in the Jurassic RimWorld playthrough. Stilico, you might need to be unmounted. But I honestly don't know. So what we're going to do is have them pick up the prisoners, and they should attempt to walk them over here. But before they actually get there, we're going to send them on their journey home. So capture, capture, capture. Okay. The only thing is, I don't know if they'll get treated properly if we do it this way. Maybe I should treat them first and then do it. Ah, crap, I don't know. I'm a little bit wary about doing it like this because they might not actually be part of the colony, or excuse me, the caravan, in which case they won't receive medical attention like they would if they were. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut here. I'm going to make sure that they're all patched up so that nobody bleeds to death on the trip home. But we'll give them the bare minimum treatment. And then we're going to do this little exploit, and I'll show you how it goes. Okay, so everybody has been treated, at least so far as bleeding is concerned. They still have cracks and bruises they're unattended to, but that's irrelevant. All 3 of our prisoners are currently being carried by one of our colonists. So if we go to the world map and we reform our caravan, they're no longer considered part of this whole thing. So we don't need to worry about them as far as travel time goes. But they will still come with us, and that's the important thing. I'm going to grab that iron and, well, the bronze for sure. We'll see about the iron. And again, I'll grab these weapons because I feel like I've earned the right to at least sell them. If we choose our route, that's going to be 2.2 days, so we cut our time in half. Do I want to bring that? I don't think it's worth it. Iron is not going to be super useful here. The bronze is just outright better, and it's more valuable. So there we go. But yeah, we basically cut our travel time in half there. So what's going to happen is when we arrive, they're just going to drop the prisoners on the ground, and then we'll have to carry them inside. But that will be a much more effective way to do it than Denise is upset because we had to arrest her again. But that's going to be much more efficient than the alternative. Oh, hello, Mr. Warg. You just killed an elk. We'll go ahead and grab that for food. What have you been up to? I don't like what you're doing. I'm going to mark you for hunting. Loka, go ahead and shoot the thing. It should already be a little bit hurt to the point where... Oh, who's nearby? Nobody's nearby. Damn it. I was going to say someone can jump on this. Tanya, stop what you're doing. Man the crossbow. If that runs into your field of view, you're going to shoot it. Hurry! Oh, I think it's turning around to attack us. No, maybe not. Okay, it's down. Well, so much for that. As you were, Tanya. And we'll make sure to grab the elk for some food too, though it looks like meat is not in anything close to short supply. In fact, we have a lot of meat there. What's happening with you? Food poisoning. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty common theme in this playthrough because I can't do the things that are necessary in order to avoid it. At least get him into bed so he'll be healing faster. But yeah, I can't put like a cooking area with sterile tiles or something like that. Though I think there are... Was it in here? Let's see. Kitchen cupboard, cook speed, and butchering speed lowers food poison chance. Yeah, so I can do cupboards and stuff that will help a little bit. But I can't have like super sterile conditions or anything like that. And honestly, the way it works in 1.0 with food poisoning is kind of ridiculous. It happens far too frequently. This is pretty clean, all things considered. Yeah, there's a little bit of blood spatter on the floor from the butchering. And it looks like somebody left their trash on the ground, but honestly, it's really not that bad. And we're still getting pretty consistent food poisoning. But honestly, if it's our prisoners, I don't care that much because that just keeps them out of trouble anyways. So frankly, whatever, I don't care. Constantine is back on the old terraforming game. Okay. So yeah, there's our moat. It looks awfully narrow for 3 tiles, but I'm fine with it. I think narrow is probably better anyways, because I talked about this in the past, but this is just going to be like the core of our base. We may expand out past it, but we're still going to have the defenses here because this will be sort of like our keep. If the overall thing was like a castle town, this will be sort of the main defensive position. We'll still have, you know, walls out here if we build out that way, but we'll keep the walls here too, just so that we have even more, you know, defensive positions, and that moat will stay. If we don't need to build out that far, we won't, but something tells me that the colony will eventually be big enough that it will become necessary, because obviously we're not going to fit a ton of people in such a small space like we have now. So we'll need to figure all that out. Alright, so that seems like a good place as any to end it. We're going to let Constantine do a little bit more of this work. Oh, look, we got some Greek travelers coming by. And they seem to be equipped appropriately, so that's cool. But yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it there. We're going to let our caravan make their way home. Hopefully they'll be back by the time I record the next one. We're going to let Constantine continue working on the moat. And once that is finished, I will probably get him focused on this out here so that we can prevent anybody from attacking us through the water. And we'll want to do the same over here, though I'll probably just have this one go straight out that way because the deep water is pretty close right here, so we just need to go meet it. And that's about it. If we can get this harvest done soon, then I'll go ahead and remove that. I've set it so that they won't re-sow the area. So as soon as that's done, I can go ahead and just delete the zone and start building the palisade in. Same goes for this here. I've asked that these not get replanted, and we obviously have already put something similar in here. So they're all taken care of. It's just a matter of, you know, taking advantage of this. I don't want to kill it now while they're, you know, what are these, 78% grown? That seems like a waste not to let them harvest, but we're not going to continue harvesting them. They're done after this. And then we have these to rely on. And as I said before, we'll go ahead and transplant that one over here somewhere. So with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I had a great time playing some RimWorld with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys back here for the next episode.